Today I'm going to talk about living in Sun City Hilton Head. My name is Kratz and I'm your host. If you get anything out of this video, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. Let's go ahead and get started. The most important thing I think when you're trying to decide if Sun City is the right fit for you is, does the lifestyle fit what you're looking for? I sort of equate it to picking a college. You don't pick a college because of a dorm room, and I think it's the same. So Sun City is located in Oakity, South Carolina, and on the other side in Hardyville. If you want to go to the beach, the closest beach is going to be about 30 minutes by car to Hilton Head. If you want to go to downtown Savannah, it's going to be about a half an hour, and the same if you want to go to Savannah International Airport. If you want to drive out to Beaufort, it's going to be about 35 minutes and about 15 minutes to go to downtown Bluffton. If you want to drive to Charleston, that is about an hour and 3/4. From the front gate, it could take you as long as 10 minutes to get to the back. And just keep that in mind when selecting locations. But there are multiple entrances and exits, so getting in and out of the community isn't going to be that hard. Sun City sprawls over 5,700 acres, so almost 9 square miles. Of that, 1,500 of those acres are either going to be open space or wetland. Upon completion, there are going to be about 9,000 homes as expected. There are 7.5 miles of walking trails, and there are 36 common buildings, which make up about 180,000 square feet. Regardless of where you live in Sun City, you can use any of the amenities. There are 3 distinct areas. You have Sun City Commons, which is south of 278, and that's in Beaufort County. And then you have the north side, which is in Jasper County. And then there's the estate side, which is Riverbend in Beaufort County. There are 3 state-of-the-art fitness centers to work out in, 3 restaurants. There are 4 outside pools and 2 indoor pools. There are also 3 golf courses, 2 on the south side and 1 on the north side. With the 2 golf courses, they combine for nearly 300 acres or over 300 acres with approximately 5 to 6 miles of golf paths for each course. Argent Lakes has over 77 acres. The heart of Sun City is Town Square. There's a 500-seat theater, all sorts of classes, billiards, tennis, table tennis, pickleball, bocce, and a lot more. You know, there are over 100 clubs and organizations, so if you don't stay busy, it's your own fault. And if you drive down the street just a little ways, you'll get to my personal favorite, the wood shop, where they have about every tool that I've ever wanted. Softball is extremely popular in Sun City, and on the south side they have a regulation field. Next to that you have the dog park. There are actually 2 dog parks. Now let's talk real estate. Homes start around $300,000, and depending on what you want, I would say a typical budget is between $400,000 and $500,000. Villas start on the lower end around $300,000, and you can spend over $1 million depending on what you're getting. You know, if you're looking at waterfront over on Riverbend, you could easily exceed $1 million. If you want to go with new construction, prices start in the 400s. You get to pick what you want, but you're going to pay a little bit extra for the convenience. One thing I will say though, I do think Pulte is one of the best, if not the best, production builders in the area. In my experience, their timeliness and quality is much better than most. Now, if you do buy new construction, you do need to know that you're going to be in Hardyville, so you're going to be paying a little bit more in taxes. If it fits your primary home, you're going to be paying 1% of the purchase price. So a $500,000 house, we're doing you $5,000 a year, which I don't think is so bad. But here's the thing. If it's not your primary, it's a second home, investment home, rental, whatever, you're going to pay 1.5%, and all of a sudden that number jumps to about $12,900. So that's starting to sound more like New York taxes. No offense, New Yorkers, but I have a feeling you are moving down here to get away from that sort of thing, not just the weather. If you buy a resale home, you're going to be in Beaufort County. Well, you're more likely to be in Beaufort County, and the taxes there on a primary are only 0.5%, so you're talking about $2,500 a year as a primary, and as a second home you're talking just south of $7,500 a year. Now let's talk about homeowners fees. If you're in Sun City Commons, you're going to be paying $2,352 a year for homeowners fees. And that is the same for Riverbend. If you're going to be on the north side, you're going to pay $31.65. Now they do cut your grass, so you do get a little bit extra for your money. And if you're living in a villa, you should expect to pay $6,000 to $6,500 a year, roughly, and that does include the HOA fee. Sun City is a natural gas community, so you do have that option. One thing you don't have an option for are fences. And along with that, let's talk about alligators. What I would say is they are typically just as afraid of you as you are of them until they're not. You know, what happens is people mistakenly feed them, and that's when the alligators start getting more aggressive, and then they're going to have to be put down. They can't relocate them. Now let's talk a little bit more about resales. Some of the issues that you might run into, first of all, would be stucco. There's synthetic stucco, also known as EFS, and there was a class action lawsuit which has been settled, but there are plenty of houses out there that still have it. And the way everything's handled, when someone lists a home, they go ahead and get an inspection to make sure everything's a-okay, and that's just a snapshot. So while things are great then, that doesn't mean 5 years down the line you might not have a problem. And so, you know, the problem typically is there's water penetration around the windows and it gets in through the flashing. The next thing you might run into will be polybutylene. That's a pipe that they used in Sun City in the 90s, and it's more of an insurance issue than it is likelihood that there's a leak because of the polybutylene that's there. I would say that you have the good polybutylene, which uses the copper rings and is less likely to have a leak. I laugh a little bit though, but these homes have a manifold like you would for a car, and they have different valves typically in the garage, and you can turn each of the strings on and off, so you know if you have a setup like that, there's probably a problem. Next thing, Masonite, and that was a precursor to hardy plank. If it does not stay painted, the water will get in, and it's basically like pressed cardboard. So it'll just blow up. And, you know, it's something that if the house has it, at least personally, I'd want it replaced with some sort of poly product so you didn't have to worry about it. Now, some of the next things are going to be true for any home in the area, but age of the roof. A lot of the homes will have either a 15 to 20 year roof, which is a single tab, or an architectural shingle, which is a 30 year, or they could have something that lasts even longer. But the reality is 30 means probably 25 and so on. HVAC. Now down here, your air conditioner would typically last between 10 and 12 years. Furnaces, you really don't have to worry about too much. They're going to last forever just because how much heat do you really need? I know when I first moved down here, I didn't have heat in the place I was living and didn't even figure it out until November. The last thing I want to talk about is flood insurance. You know, we are in the low country, and Sun City, there are definitely some wet areas, and it'd be something that I'd want to look at to see if I needed to have flood insurance with a mortgage. And what I would say, paying cash or not, there is an element of resale. And let's say that FEMA runs out of money and the government decides not to continue to fund it. Well, I think premiums are going to shoot up. So, you know, that would be something I just think you need to know about. I hope you get a chance to experience the relaxed living we offer. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. And if you did find anything useful, again, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of my content that I produce, subscribe. If you have any questions, go ahead and put them down in the chat box. You can also call, text, or email me. And if you look down in the YouTube description, I do have some links so you can either set up a Zoom meeting or a phone call with. Since you stuck around this long, I wanted to provide you with a bonus tip. Keep in mind there are a lot of smart people living in Sun City with nothing to do. I mean, they're retired. That can be good or bad. Don't get me wrong. I think everyone's very nice here, but it seems like there's always someone somewhere, and those people can make your life difficult. And with the smaller lots, I think it's even more important to consider. So anyway, thank you very much. Please reach out if I can help. Carl Kratz with Century 21. Take care. Thanks. Bye.